Welcome to Soul Shift, where modern science, ancient wisdom, and real life come alive.
Soul Shift is your weekly dose of inspiration and a reminder that meaningful change can be both gentle and powerful.
Together we'll unlock practical tools, share conversations that spark something beautiful, and celebrate every facet of your incredible human experience.
Your energy matters, your growth matters, and you matter. Let's shift boldly,
joyfully,
together.
Welcome back to Soul Shift, the podcast where real life, science, and soul all get a seat at the table. I'm Mindy Gorman-Plutzer, and today I am your host and your guest, bringing to you what I hope will be educational as well as inspirational. So before we dive in, I want to tell you a little bit about my journey, because everything I'm about to share comes from lived experience, not just academic knowledge. For over 20 years, I was at odds with my body. Every morning, I'd stand in front of the mirror and catalog what was wrong. The wrinkles, the weight, the way my body had changed without my permission. The scale was my judge. I was both the prisoner and the warden of a cell I'd built myself. At 49, newly widowed and caught in grief, I hit rock bottom. At 55, I made a decision that changed everything. I walked away from a career in weight loss, a system I believed in for a decade, and went back to school for 8 years to learn the actual truth about food, body, and freedom. What I discovered is what I'm sharing with you today, and I believe it might be exactly what you need to hear. So here's what I learned. Diet culture doesn't announce itself. It becomes the water you swim in. So normal, so pervasive, that you don't even know it's there until one day you do. You see, I grew up in a household where the people responsible for my well-being were always on a diet, always commenting on their bodies or someone else's. The message wasn't spoken. It was just in the air. The message being, your body is something to be managed. Your body is something to be controlled. And your body is something to be improved. Thinner means better, and better means worthy. So by the time I was a teenager, I'd absorbed that as absolute fact, not opinion, fact. I didn't question it. I just started acting on it, restricting, comparing, measuring my value by the size of my pants. What's heartbreaking is that I was smart, I was capable, I was curious, but the most important project I believed I had was making myself smaller. This is recognition. That moment when you suddenly see what's been invisible, when you ask, who told me this was true? Where did I get this belief? Why have I organized my entire life around something I never consciously chose? For me, recognition came at 55. I was working inside a diet program, watching women lose weight, but never lose the exhaustion inside. And then I looked in the mirror and I had to be honest, neither had I. After decades, I was still disconnected from myself. And that's when I could finally see it, not as truth, but as a system designed to keep me doubting myself, to profit from my self-doubt, to convince me that my body was the problem. Once you see that system, you can't unsee it. And that's where everything changes. Now, here's what most approaches to disordered eating miss. They treat food as the problem. But food is never the problem. Food is always a solution being used for problems that haven't been named. When a woman restricts, she's using food restriction to create control in a life that feels out of control. When she overeats, she's using food to soothe, numb, regulate emotions that feel too big. When she obsesses about food in her body, she is using that obsession to avoid deeper questions about her worth, her safety, her belonging. This is eating psychology. It's understanding the why beneath the what. And it's the missing piece in most disordered eating treatment. But, and this is crucial, Eating psychology alone is not enough because there's also the body. There's the actual physiology that's been affected by years of restriction, stress, and dysregulation. And this is where functional medicine comes in. You see, functional medicine asks, why is it happening? Not just what's happening. When you've spent years in nervous system dysregulation, here's what actually is happening in your body. Your HPA axis is dysregulated. Years of chronic stress and dietary chaos have compromised your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, the system that controls your stress response. Your body is literally stuck in perceived threat, which makes food obsession and restriction feel necessary for survival. Your mitochondria are depleted. Chronic restriction damages mitochondrial function. Your cells become less efficient at producing energy. That's what that means. This isn't laziness. This is biology. Your body is trying to survive on insufficient fuel. Your gut is dysbiotic and your absorption is compromised. Restriction disrupts your microbiome and your ability to absorb nutrients. Your gut-brain axis is broken. Your hunger and fullness signals are offline. Your hormones are dysregulated. The hormones involved in hunger, satiety, mood, and sense of safety, all compromised. This is why eating psychology and functional medicine have to work together. You can't supplement your way out of a dysregulated nervous system, but you also can't meditate your way out of mitochondrial dysfunction. You need both. And this is where my signature 4R framework comes in. It's a map for freedom that honors both the psychology and the physiology. We start with recognize. You wake up to what's been happening. You see the patterns. You understand that your relationship with food is an intelligent coping mechanism, not a character flaw. You recognize that diet culture taught you to see your body as the enemy. You get tested. You understand what's actually happening in your body. You see the biology underneath the behavior. Then comes the reject phase. You stop participating in the system that's harming you. You reject diet culture. You reject the belief that your body is the problem. You remove and release what's actively dysregulating your system, not restricting. You are releasing what's harmful. And then we move to the third phase, reclaim. You reclaim your life from years of disconnection. You reclaim your mental energy from food obsession. You rebuild, you repair gut health, restore mitochondrial function, recalibrate hormones, strengthen vagal tone. Your body begins to feel safe. And finally, we radically accept. You accept your body as it is. This is not giving up, however. It's coming home. Your body, now restored and regulated, can finally communicate. Your hunger and fullness signals work. Your energy stabilizes. Your whole self reflects the freedom. So let me tell you a story and give you an example. Sarah came to me at 48. 20 plus years of restriction and obsession. Every program, every approach, she'd lose weight, feel terrible, regain it again, and blame herself. Her functional medicine testing showed a completely dysregulated stress response, severely depleted cellular energy, hormonal imbalance, gut inflammation, and a compromised nervous system. We worked the 4 R's. Sarah learned her food obsession was not a character flaw. It was her dysregulated nervous system trying to create control. Her restriction wasn't discipline, it was protection. We removed inflammatory foods dysregulating her system. We rejected diet mentality. We started nervous system regulation practices, breath work, vagal toning, somatic work. We rebuilt her cellular energy through nutrient density, movement that felt good, adequate rest. We supported her hormones functionally. We addressed her gut. We reconnected her to body through eating psychology work, exploring beliefs underneath behaviors and the unmet needs underneath the obsession. 4 months in, Her stress response was normalizing, energy returning, hormones stabilizing. But more importantly, she stopped thinking about food. She ate when she was hungry. She stopped when she was satisfied. She trusted herself. She was home. That's what happens when you honor both psychology and physiology. But now I want to address something very specific. Women on GLP-1 medications. These medications are powerful tools. Yes, they quiet hunger signals. Yes, they reduce food preoccupation. But here's what I'm seeing. Many women are using GLP-1s to bypass the real work. The medication quiets the noise, but it doesn't heal the relationship. It doesn't address the beliefs. It doesn't regulate the nervous system. It doesn't restore the body's capacity to function. A woman loses weight on GLP-1, but she doesn't trust herself with food. She still carries shame. She still uses food as regulation. She's just using medication to override her body's signals instead of learning to listen to them. And this is where my work becomes essential for GLP-1 users. The eating psychology piece is non-negotiable. You need to do the inner work. You need to heal your relationship with food. You need to address nervous system dysregulation, the beliefs, the unspoken hungers beneath the hunger. The medication might quiet the appetite, but it won't quiet shame. It won't teach you to trust yourself. It won't create the psychological freedom you're seeking. My work with GLP-1 users focuses on exactly this, doing the emotional, psychological, somatic work while medication supports you physically. So when you come off the medication, or if you stay on it, you've actually transformed. You're not dependent on anything external for control. You're genuinely free. That's what the Freedom Promise is designed to do. So I've created 2 complimentary guides for you, and they're linked in the show notes. The first is called What If You Aren't the Problem? Your guide to food freedom through the wisdom of your body. Because the moment you stop being the diagnosis and start being the detective, everything shifts. The second is what a GLP-1 can't do for you. Because if you're using or considering this medication, you deserve to understand the full picture. The medication can quiet the hunger. It cannot quiet shame. This guide helps you understand what the inner work looks like alongside it. Both are yours, free, because this information belongs to you. I also want to mention my latest book, Midlife Metamorphosis, The Journey from Diet Culture to Radical Acceptance, and it's available on Amazon. It's the deeper story behind everything I share today, and it will meet you wherever you are in this path. And this link also is in the show notes. And if you're ready for a true deep dive, if you're done circling the same mountain and you want a guide for the actual climb, the Fully Nourished Signature Blueprint is where the magic happens. It's my most comprehensive, intimate work, the full integration of eating psychology, functional medicine, and the 4R framework, held in a space designed entirely for you. So reach out to me directly for the details. I'd love to have that conversation. Thank you for being with me today. The episode was called From Exhaustion to Embodiment, the Integrated Path to Food Freedom, and that's exactly what's possible. Again, everything I've mentioned is linked in the show notes, the guides, the book, and how to reach me. Your body is not broken, it is brilliant, and it's been waiting for you to step into your own freedom. So until next time, keep shifting your mind and igniting your soul.
Thank you for sharing the sacred time today.
We hope something in this conversation touched your heart
And offered nourishment for your soul's journey.
Remember, transformation is most effortless when it happens one tender shift at a time.
Until next week, we invite you to carry one insight from today into your life.
Not as a task.
Think of it as a superpower to yourself.
If something resonated, we'd love to hear from you. If you're joining us on YouTube, feel free to leave us a comment below.
Your words ripple outward, offering connection and comfort to others walking this path beside you.
If Soulship feels like home, please subscribe and consider leaving us a review.
Your support will help us reach more hearts that need to hear they're not alone.
We're holding you in love, so know you're not alone. Your journey matters.
May your heart be filled.
And may your path be filled with grace.